Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I bought another crew cab. This one is a real doozy. I don't really need it. I don't really have a plan for it, but it was just too good of a deal not to drag it home. So here it is. But man, this thing is rough. But there is kind of an interesting story behind it and some cool things about it I want to show you guys. So let's go dig into it. All right, guys. Well, here it is. It is a 1970 F-250 two-wheel drive. So short bed. I don't have a bed on right now, but it's a short wheelbase crew cab since it's a 3/4 ton. And yeah, here she is. I think I mentioned in the title, this thing was only $750, which in the crew cab world, that is dirt cheap. That's like cheaper than dirt. Like, just, I don't care what kind of condition it is. If it's $750, it's worth it if it's got the back doors. So basically, that's why I have it here. But man, it is rusty. I know a lot of the northern guys in the rusty areas like to make fun of me whenever I say something's rusty. They're like, oh man, that thing's solid where I'm from, and you're calling it rusty. Well, maybe this one will change your mind. I finally got a rusty one that maybe you guys would appreciate or call rusty yourself, I guess. But we'll see. This one actually came from the Pacific Northwest, so little bit different kind of a truck than I'm used to. I don't get those kind of trucks often because they just don't make it this in my part of the country. And it's kind of an interesting story as to why this one's here. I'll fill you guys in with that later. But there's a lot of rust in areas I'm not used to rust being, and I think that's being over there, you know, more moisture in the air and rusting stuff out in different areas, kind of like this pillar back here in the back. It's all rotted out, and it's all rotted out on the inside. You see that? But that's because there's a massive hole up there in the roof. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. And right here, the inner door panels are rusted out. So I am definitely not used to that. This I'm used to because the doors collect dirt. I mean, it's the worst one I have, but I'm used to seeing rot down here in the bottom of the doors and in the bottom of the B-pillar here. So that's rusted out, and there's a little bit here in the footwell. But overall, the crew cab rear floor section, this part's good that I can tell. The footwells need some work, and the rocker. The actual rocker channels are good, but the rocker, these pieces are kind of rusty. And obviously, you know, cab corners and stuff like that. Door bottoms, all of those are rusty. Like, see, here's the rocker piece here. But these channels are good, but this is rusty. So I ran into problems with these being rusty, and then you got a big problem, or, you know, big job. These you can just cut out and replace the top skin. The B-pillar here has rust issues, so same with all the doors. But yeah, it's a crew cab, so it has the important parts, which is the back door and the B-pillar, and the VIN number for the frame and the crew cab VIN right here. So we do have that stuff going for us. This truck was originally this yellow color. You can see it here, and then at some point somebody painted it green, and then at some point somebody brushed on a like silver paint this color. I don't know what it is about crew cabs and people hand brushing paint jobs, but this is the third one I bought that had a hand brushed like house paint kind of paint job. And I guess it's just trying to make it look nice. I don't know. I think it looks terrible. You know, they just slopped around this emblem here that someone took off at some point, and you can see some of the green showing through the hood and the yellow. But anyway, I mean, I guess you can't get too picky with a $750 crew cab. You can see here someone slapped some body fill over the rust on the doors. That didn't last. But due to this yellow paint job, I kind of had a theory this one might be another Union Pacific truck. I already have one 72 one-ton crew cab that is, I know for sure, is a Union Pacific truck. This one I'm not so sure about because my other Union Pacific truck right here, it has an ID tag that says UPRR and has a ID number on it. I couldn't find one anywhere in this truck. I don't know if it might be a regional thing, you know, this one being in a different field office or something. They did things differently on their numbering system. But anyway, oh yeah, the door doesn't shut. That was a adventure getting this thing home. I had ratchet straps everywhere, and the hood doesn't open. Well, it opens, but there's no hood hinges, so I had to put a strap over the top of the hood. And I haven't even looked at the engine. We'll take a look at the engine once I get it off the trailer. But since we're talking about the Union Pacific, I wanted to bring you over here to my other crew cab to see the yellow paint on this one. It has the yellow paint there. And in here you see more of the yellow paint. But it has this ID tag right here that says UPRR, do not remove, and it has a number there. So that was just, that's what gave me the hint that this one was a Union Pacific truck. So the only thing I have going off of this one is the color, which it looks similar, and it is a fleet order truck, and it is a special paint truck. So I'll have to put those two colors side by side and see if they match. But short of that, I don't know how else you would prove it, unless I like sand this door down and find a Union Pacific logo on the door or something. Short of that, we're just kind of we're just guessing on this thing. But yeah, oh man, the rust is terrible on this thing. There's the drip rail. I mean, it is just gone. There's a section right here that's good. Then it gets worse. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be restoring this one. This one is be a lot of work. I think how I would do it, I kind of already looked it over, but we would definitely be front halving it with a regular cab, and I think I would back half it with a regular cab too, with all that rot and the back pillar and everything. Just back half it too, keep the B pillar, the rear doors, and the crew cab floor, and just replace everything else. And the roof, I guess you would have to either splice in a couple of regular cab roofs or try to fix this one. But the drip rail is just rotted away terribly. So I think it would be a big job to try to repair this one. But then whenever you get that big piece of flat metal up here and you're trying to splice the two roofs together, you know, you might be wavy if it's not perfect. I don't know. It would be a job nonetheless. But yeah, I think this one has, I don't know if that's a Ford Spotlight. I don't think it is, but this is definitely unique to this truck. This plate right here. My short bed 67 over there has a Ford factory light, but I don't see the Ford on this one. So maybe by this time they didn't have Ford stamped on them. They're just a third-party label. But anyway, yeah, she's pretty rough. So story time. I told you guys there was kind of a story about this truck. It was like 2 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. A collector up in the Northeast had a big auction. He had a bunch of crew cabs lined up out of the highway. His name was Ben. If you guys are on Facebook, you might have seen him post about his. Or there's a lot of people that see it on the highway and take pictures of it back when he had all the crew cabs lined up. But he had a big auction and he sold a bunch of stuff that he wasn't ever going to do anything with. And this truck was one of them. This truck sold at auction and it went to Kansas. And that's as far as I knew. And then whenever I went to go get that truck, the 67 Highboy, can you see right there? The 67 Highboy right there. Actually, I went to go get the bed that's on the back of that truck, and they had this 67 Highboy sitting there. And I said, hey, is that for sale? And they said, yeah. So I brought it home too. But anyway, when I went to go get that truck, we started talking crew cabs and say, well, we just bought a crew cab. And it ended up, this is the truck that they bought. They weren't really happy with the condition. I think they were either not paying attention to the photos, or the photos weren't good enough to represent the condition of the truck, or something of that nature. They weren't really happy with what they paid for it, which was a lot. You know, for this truck, it was a lot. And they got it home and they had it at a body shop. And I guess they were going to trade some stuff for the work on it or something, but apparently that didn't happen because there hasn't been anything done on this thing. And here, flash forward 2 years later, I'm getting it from a guy that's he was probably 30 or 40 miles from the town that they said that truck was at the body shop, and he said that's where he picked it up at a body shop in that city. So I guess that checks out. And he only paid $200 for it. So apparently somewhere along the line, the body shop guy said he took it in on trade, fixing on some other cars. So those guys might have just cut their losses and traded it off, or something of that nature. But yeah, somewhere along the line, the value of this crew cab got misplaced. So the guys that had it didn't realize what it was. And the guy I got it from had it for sale for $750, believe it or not. So yeah, it's very rusty. It has a ton of problems. You couldn't just get in and drive it, you know, kind of stuff. But $750 for a crew cab, I mean, all day long, I'll take that deal. Even any condition, even if it's just the rear doors, you know. So anyway, that's the kind of backstory on this thing. So kind of interesting that I ran into the people that bought this truck at auction, buying another truck from them, and now a couple years later, it's sitting on my trailer at my place. So now I got the big rusty crew cab. So anyway, I guess I'm not too upset, because basically I didn't have very much time when I saw that thing listed for sale, and I had to message the guy right away, hook on the trailer, and start heading that way. So for one, I didn't do any research before I showed up. Two, I didn't look at the pictures very hard. So when I showed up and saw how rusty it was kind of a disappointment, because, you know, you're amped up thinking, oh man, I'm going to get a good deal, or this one, you know, is unknown. You're going to bring out one that's unknown to the crew cab community, or some guy just doesn't know what he has, or doesn't know, you know, the rusty areas on a crew cab and how bad they can be, and just calling it rusty when it's really not that bad. You know, all those things were in my head. Then I show up, oh yeah, it's rusty. Yeah, like you said it was. He told me it was really rusty and made sure I wanted it still. But, you know, that's just kind of how it goes. So I mean, I'm not disappointed in the purchase for the price. You know, if I paid triple what I paid for it now, I would maybe be a little disappointed. But as far as me fixing this, I don't know if I'm going to do it. You know, it's possible, and I have the parts here to do it, but the time is what I don't have to do it. So I'm probably going to be sending this one down the road. I don't know yet. I got it cheap enough. I can just throw it in the lot and have it in inventory, but it's kind of pointless to have an inventory if you're probably never going to do anything with it. So I might be selling it. I might be throwing some parts on it I have, just to make it easier for the next guy. Like might put a bed on it and throw some parts in it to fix the cab and stuff off some of the regular cab parts I have, to make that easier for the next guy. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing off the trailer and take a peek at that engine, because I haven't even opened the hood on this. So that'll be fun. Let's go check that out. Alright, so we got it off the trailer. I can show you guys the roof a little bit better now. I guess this has the crew cab roof rot. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not good either. So another thing I noticed is it has one stainless hubcap. I think there's one. Is there one on the other side? This shows you how much I've even looked this truck over. No, we have one hubcap. It's not too bad. There's a few dents and dings in it, but you could probably knock those out a little bit and polish that thing up and repaint the black, and it would look pretty good. But we only got one. The front has 16.5s, and the rears are split ring 16s, and this one is actually an early wheel, which I'm probably going to take this off and throw it on my 67, because it has the old farmer that had that welded in some nuts in it, so he could put a wheel and roll up some electric fence wire or something of that nature, I'm guessing. So I might be throwing that one on that truck just so we have a mint early wheel, even though I know people hate those split ring wheels. I don't mind them, but I'm around the farm here, I'm used to messing with them. So if I want the original style wheels on that truck, I might just take this one off and throw it in the bed of that truck just so I have it. But it's got the later style split rim on that side. Another thing I noticed whenever I was pulling it off the trailer is it doesn't have the plated F250 frame here. So interestingly, the this is a 70 and it doesn't have that extra plating. I still have yet to figure out what that is all about. I don't think it's a GVRW thing, because I've had low GVRW trucks that have it, and I don't know. This is the only second one I've bought that doesn't have it. Originally I thought it was an early truck thing that they didn't have it, and they decided they need extra frame stiffening, so they put them in there. Because the only other truck I have that doesn't have it is my 67 F250. All the other 250s I bought have all had it, even though I guess I've only bought, see, what 250s have I bought? They've all been 72s. I haven't bought any. Is that right? I think so. I think all the other trucks I bought have been 1 ton. So maybe it's after 70. I don't know. But this one doesn't have the extra stiffening in the frame. So interesting. That's good though, because the frame would probably be junk if it had it, and it doesn't have it. So it's probably good. There is a little pitting and stuff up here, and some wear from the bed. I guess it had well, it didn't have. Yeah, it might have had a box bed on it at one time. You can see the wear marks there. So. And some pitting up here, but it's not rotted out as far as I can tell. These cross members here like to rot out. They get junk behind here, and they're not rotted out. I haven't really crawled under it that much, and I haven't even checked to see if this is the original frame. Check the VIN on the frame, but I'm sure it is. You know, like crew cab frames aren't very easy to come by, so it's probably the original frame. But like I said, I haven't even looked inside the hood on this thing, because it doesn't have hood hinges, and I wasn't going to yank the hood off whenever I was there buying this thing. He did say the engine turns over, but he didn't try to fire it. Oh, by the way, it has a 300 in it and a T18 4-speed. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I probably can't get this off one-handed, so I'm going to set the camera down and see if I can get the hood propped up at least, so you guys can see what we could take a peek under the engine bay. Okay, I got a hood prop. Let's see if we can get the hood open. Ah, there's already a hood prop in here. Let's see. Does that work? All right. Well, here's the original orange color here, or the yellow, sorry. So yeah, that's nice and bright here. I can probably test that to my other truck over there. Right now, it is actually looking a bit more yellow. So it may not be a Union Pacific truck after all. That one's looking a little bit darker yellow, and this one's looking more bright, I guess. But yeah, the hood has seen better days, but I guess you could expect that with the rest of the truck. Yeah, but it does have a 300 in it. We're missing the air cleaner, which isn't a good sign, because it could mean stuff has gotten in there as far as water and stuff goes. But he said it did turn over. Let's see. Might have to yank on the belt there to get that to... Yep, it turns over nice. Okay, so it does turn over very nicely, and it looks like it has a kind of modern-ish fuel pump. The fuel line is disconnected. That probably means the tank is bad. They're running it off a jug. The oil filter looks like it hasn't been changed in this decade or longer. So this thing probably hasn't ran in a very long time. The engine is painted orange, which wouldn't be original, so it's probably been worked on at some point. It has different spark plug wires. Somebody's been in here doing stuff. Let's see, anything else? It has the 6-cylinder opening for the small 6-cylinder radiator, but it has a... Is it a big radiator? It's certainly different. It's not a 6-cylinder radiator, but I don't think it's a... Huh. Well, there's C2. That would be 62 part number. So this might be just some junkyard radiator somebody had that worked in here out of a early truck, like a 62, because they put these big spacers on here. I don't think it's, you know, it's not a bump side radiator. We have manual brakes, drum brakes on the front, manual steering. Pretty low option truck. I guess this could be a different engine. It could be a 240, but it's most likely a 300. 300 is a lot more common. That's what it came with originally, was a 300. So we're just going to assume that's what it is. 1-barrel carburetor. The inner fenders really aren't terrible. This is terrible because of the battery, obviously. But as far as the rot on the inner fenders, it does have some back up in here, so they're pretty junk. Oh, and there's a bunch of holes there. So yeah, I don't know why they took the hood hinges off. I mean, there's no reason. It's not like it's falling apart there. I don't know why they took the hood hinges off. Maybe somebody needed them. I don't know about the firewall paint situation we got going on here. Man, that looks like they just goobed it on there, globbed it on there. So somebody painting skills weren't quite restoration quality, I guess you could say, putting it nicely. But anyway, guys, that's a look under this hood. I don't see anything else that really jumps out at me as really interesting or anything, other than that paint color. This is the best I've seen of the paint color, and I think it's too bright to be Union Pacific. So I mean, that's kind of a bummer, but I didn't have any proof anyway, so it would have just been a guess anyway. So it could be like a DOT truck. A lot of DOT trucks are this color, or just a fleet truck, somebody's business that this is their color. So those are the things. I don't have a Marty report on this one to know what town it was sold in or anything like that. I do know it was ordered in the Seattle ordering district, which that doesn't really tell you much. It's just the region that it was ordered in. But I might hit up Ben on Facebook and see if he ever got a Marty report for this thing. Or I don't know if I really want to. They're like $55 now. I don't really know if I want to spend that on this thing. Because for one, I don't think I'm keeping it. So, but I do love the Marty reports just to get the history on the truck and just learn everything I can about them. So I'll probably end up getting one anyway, just because I'm a numbers nerd and I geek out on that kind of stuff. So yeah, guys, I don't know. I don't have a plan for this thing. What would you do if it was yours? Would you kick it down the road, since I got other crew cabs to restore and build up here, or would you park this thing out back and just keep it in inventory? I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards letting somebody else get one and build one. So this will be a cheap crew cab that someone can get and work on. It's going to take a lot of work, especially if somebody isn't wanting to make one perfect. They just want a crew cab to get in and kind of fix some stuff and work on it as they go. This is probably a good truck for that, because it would take a long time to do all the rust repair on this thing to a restoration quality level. The big thing is the roof, because I mean, you can't make the roof look good without totally redoing it. So that is a big problem. But as far as the rust in the doors and the floors, I mean, it's decent. The crew cab or the cab mounts are holding it up, so you wouldn't really have to mess with that right away. Just the big thing is the roof. You know, that's not a very sealed up roof. You get wet if it rained, kind of a thing. But anyway, guys, just a quick video on this crew cab. I haven't really been buying a lot because I have a lot to do already as far as the trucks I have lined up. So this one is kind of just a bonus because it was just so cheap I couldn't pass it up. But I'll figure out what I'm going to do with it. I'll let you guys know. So subscribe so you can see what happens next with all my trucks. Like this video if you like this truck. Subscribe to see more. Thanks guys. See you on the next one.